Hi everybody, thank you for joining us today. This webinar is entitled Self-Paced Learning. In this session we will have a look at what self-paced learning is, how it can support and enhance learning in the classroom, and explore how easy it is to create your own question sets. We'll finally have a look at the data and the feedback that is generated. Today's presenter is Janice Pranstatter, and Janice is going to take you through all the different areas that you can see on screen at the moment. As always with Active Inspire, we will be showing you extra tips and tricks as we provide examples for the classroom. But Janice, if you would like to get us started today.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, so what do we mean by self-paced question sets? When using traditional active expression questions, the question is displayed on a whiteboard page and students see the available options on their individual devices. In this case, a multiple choice question has been used, so you can see the multiple choice question on the flip chart page, and everyone has the same options of answers on their individual handsets. Self-paced questions are different. The flip chart page is often used to show the lesson title and description or instructions for the pupils to follow. As you can see on the image on screen now, the questions in this type of set will appear on the individual students' handsets one at a time. The settings will also allow you to randomize the questions so that learners will get them coming up onto their handsets at different times. This allows the pupils to work through a set of questions at their own pace. Questions can also be randomized so that the learners sitting in close proximity will have questions appear in different orders. Questions can be allocated different levels, with progress to the next level dependent on the answers given. The teacher is able to monitor progress throughout the assessment, meaning that intervention, when needed, is immediate. Lesson pace can be better maintained, and learners don't need to wait for others to answer before moving on to the next question. So again, that lesson pace and keeping the flow going. So how can they support learning in the classroom? Let's look at this in two ways: benefits for learners and benefits for teachers. Using the self-paced option with active expression or active engage means that progress and understanding of individual learners is recorded to support evidence of learning and next steps. Learners are able to progress through the assessment individually at their own pace without pressure from their peers. They are also able to work at their own level. Feedback is immediate, allowing for intervention at any point in the assessment process or the learning experience. Now, benefits for teachers. Question sets can be saved and shared between teachers, classes, schools, and local authorities. They can also be edited at any point to reflect changes in content, curricular guidelines, and changing pupil needs. They help to provide instant feedback on the understanding of individual learners, groups of learners, or the whole class. Data is collected automatically and can be saved with a flip chart or exported to an Excel spreadsheet for printing if required. They can also provide insight into the effectiveness of lessons, help to identify next steps, and most importantly, enable teachers to adjust learning experiences at any point in the process to better meet the needs of individual pupils in the class. So, what do you need to create your own self-paced question sets with your class? So firstly, you are going to need active expression version 1.2 or higher. The self-paced functionality did not exist before version 1.2, but we do recommend that you are always on the latest version of the Active Inspire software. And the latest version that we have right now is v1.7.62. Okay? If you're not sure on how you can check this, if you go up to the Help option in your main menu and then down to About, you can then see what version of the software you're on at the top there. Okay, we also recommend that you are on the latest driver of the software, and Sam will take you through some next steps at the end where you can find out this other types of information. You will also need an active hub, the physical one for active expression, and the virtual one for active engage. Please make sure that your hub is on the latest firmware. Sam is going to tell you where to go to find out how to do this at the end. Self-paced will work with active expression 1, but you may need to update the firmware on your devices first. And again, Sam will tell you where you can go to find out how to do this at the end of the session. Self-paced questioning will automatically work with active expression 2 or active engage 2. Okay, so how do I create self-paced question sets myself? Now, before I talk about this, I just want to make sure that everyone is clear on how the Question Master is used to preset questions to a flip chart page and why this is useful to do. So to open the Question Master, I need to go to Insert and Questions. Okay, and we'll just give that a second. You can see we've now got the Question Master open. So in the first field here, I can type in the question, and I'm going to type in ... wedding is next week. Clicking the second field will allow me to choose the question type from the drop-down menu. In this case, we're going to choose multiple choice. Clicking the third column opens the question properties window down the right side of the page. I can then input the options for the question. So we're going to do our variations of there, and there. So we're looking at words that sound the same but have different spelling and different meaning. So Sam is just going to type those in for me. And we can also change any other properties that we deem necessary. So for example, there are only 3 options in this question, so I want to make sure I delete those extra option fields. I then want to apply the changes and click Done. Now you will notice that the green play button on my toolbar is now available. Clicking this will start the question. Okay. You can see the names of my learners at the top of the screen. They turn yellow when their answer has been sent in. When the question has been answered by all the students involved, the results pane is automatically displayed. Now we can see answers from all learners to a single question. I also have the option of viewing this information in different formats. Right. Let's have a look now at how we can change this to a self-paced question page. I'm going to reopen the Question Master. And when I do, you can see my original question is still here. As soon as I start the process of adding a second question, the software knows that I am now creating a self-paced question set. So you can see on screen now, Sam is going to add in a couple more questions in the question set for me. So this one we're keeping at the same level, level 1, because we're still looking at there, and there. And Sam has typed in the question. This time that is the way blank going, and we want to be able to fill that blank in with the correct answer. So Sam's typing those options and then deleting the extra fields. Now we're going to type in one more, and this time we're changing the word that we're focusing on. So Sam is now going to change this to level 2, just to reflect that there's been a change in my questioning. Okay. And again, she's just going to type those options in for us and delete the extra spaces. Once the questions and their properties have all been set, Sam can apply the changes and click Done to close the Question Master. My green button is still available, but this time when I click it to start the question set, you will notice the results window displayed is very different. Right, I'm going to ask Sam to stop the assessment for now, but don't worry, I'll be coming back to this feature shortly to talk about what information it displays. So let's have a look at a couple different examples of how teachers are using self-paced question sets in their lessons. So this assessment was created by a teacher as part of a daily mental math practice activity. Let's open up the Question Master to see what the set looks like. We can see that there are 10 questions in total, and although most require numeric input, text and multiple choice questioning has also been used. Self-paced question sets can make use of all the question types that are available. To change the type of question, I just click on the question type field and select what I want from the drop-down menu. The questions in this set have also been given different levels, and a correct answer for each has been identified. As this is designed to be a quick activity, the teacher has also set a time limit for the session. Okay, so it might be that the teacher would expect all of her class to make it through level 1, some of her class to make it through level 2, and so on. Okay, so being able to set children at particular levels depending on their ability as well. So we can also see that in this case, the teacher has controlled progress through the levels and that questions are not randomized. So they will work through those questions at, one at a time in the same order. Although learners won't receive feedback on their devices about correct or incorrect responses, if they answer incorrectly, they will be asked to complete that question again. Okay, thanks, Sam. If you could close that one down, and let's have a look at another example. In this example, the teacher has used the flip chart page to display information that the class will need to use to answer some of the questions in the self-paced question set. She didn't want to type out the names of the multiple choice options, as proper identification of each by her class was part of the assessment. So opening up our question master there, let's have a look at the set. So next to questions 1, 2, and 3, under options, you will see 4 semicolons in each. This is because the teacher has selected multiple choice, but has not actually typed in any options here. Again, that was because she wanted her class to use the information on the flip chart page. If Sam types in the names of a couple of instruments under the options, you will now see them appear between the semicolons. Therefore, self-paced questioning can be used for assessment and learning activities in all curricular areas, not just the core subject areas. And just our one last example before we start to look at how to create these questions, or how to have a look at the results that these question sets generate. So allocating levels to questions also means individual learners are able to start the assessment at different questions relevant to their personal abilities, levels, or learning needs. This is a great example shared on Promethean Planet by Lisa Dubinard that demonstrates how allocating levels could be used to support groups of pupils working through and collecting data or findings during labs. The idea would be that the questions are set as self-paced and that each lab station would be a different level. So let's open up that question master again so we can get a better sense of exactly how this would work. Okay, so we can see here that Lisa has set the quiz to have 4 different questions at each level. 7 groups in the class have been given the names Group 1 to Group 7. And then there is also 7 lab stations within the class, again given the name Lab 1 to Lab 7. So in the self-paced question set, Level 1 questions would relate to Lab 1. Level 2 questions would relate to Lab 2, Level 3 questions to Lab 3, and so on. Because she wanted her 7 groups to move around the labs, going to 1 lab per group at a time, she needed to start groups at different labs and therefore different levels within the test. So for example, Group 2 would navigate the active expression. Okay, now just before we go on to that, I do want to point out that in my settings for my test, I have that option to allow students to navigate the question set. Okay, so Group 2 would navigate to the first question in level 2, which is question 5, and that's where they would start their question set. Then they would work their way through the questions in level 2 relating to lab 2. Then they would move on to lab 3, answer the questions for level 3, and so on. Eventually, they would come back to do the level 1 question, as that would be the last lab that they would be participating in, and therefore their quiz would end up on question 4. Okay, I hope you get a sense of how great that is just from that. I've heard some really great examples of the devices being used this way with self-paced to create scavenger hunts or treasure hunts, getting learners to seek out specific pieces of information and then report their findings back. Therefore, self-paced questions can be used for more than straight assessment opportunities. Okay, so let's start a question set now and have a look at the information collated in the self-paced results window. So Sam is just going to start that. Okay. So once the learner receives the first question on their device, the bar starts to move in the results pane. I can see each pupil's names listed down the left side of the window and therefore can easily see the questions that each has answered. The length of each box reflects the length of time taken to answer an individual question. Time in seconds is indicated along the bottom of the window. You can see just at the bottom of the bars there. The different colors represent each of the levels set by the teacher, and although we can't see it here, we'll see it in a minute, an X on a box indicates an incorrect answer. The differentiation of levels by color, as well as the easily identifiable incorrect answers, quickly gives teachers a visual reference of how both individuals and the whole class are performing. Okay, Sam, let's stop the question set and save the partial results so that we can have a closer look at the valuable information that the results window provides. Okay, so I can look at some of the information here, but what I actually want to do is we're going to close that down. And we're going to turn to the next page because I want to show you how you can go back to those results after the school day is done or after the session is done and be able to look at those results again. So to open up and view the results from a self-paced question set, I need to go to my browsers and then open up my voting browser. Down at the bottom, next to Results Browser of Self-Paced, I want to click the little plus to expand the section, and then I can have a look at the results saved to this flip chart. So you can see that I have several saved already. Now Sam has just expanded that for me so we could have a closer look. Hovering over a response box shows the level, the question, the correct answer, whether the student got it correct or incorrect, the student's response that they made, and the time taken to answer. So if I move over to another question, you'll see that information changes. And if I move over to the same question on another pupil, you'll see that the information there changes because their answer has been different. So this level of detail enables a teacher to see exactly how individuals are answering questions and intervene accordingly. For example, if we scroll along to view Kate's results, we can see that she answered question 5 incorrectly before finally getting it right the third time. Clicking on each of the bars, I can see that she actually knows the correct mathematical answer. Where she's falling down is the spelling of the word, so I get the general idea that she is trying to spell sphere. So what I could do is, as I see her during the live question set, getting that question wrong time again, I can immediately go over to her, see what's happening, and then help her out if any support is needed. So again, showing you that she actually does know the mathematical answer, but she's getting it incorrect because she doesn't know the spelling. Okay. Clicking one of the pupils' names will also bring up their individual results in the right of the window. Sam's just pointing that out. I can opt to only view their incorrect answers by ticking the box at the top of the window. So this is really nice to quickly be able to go in and see where they're going wrong, and again, that immediate intervention at any point in the lesson. I can also call up information about the results of a particular answer from all of my class. I can do this by choosing the entire class next to select. So we can then see what everybody has said. I can also get this information in a more visual format by clicking on, say, question 2 in Fred's results, and then selecting the graph icon at the top here. This brings up the results pane for single questions, and you'll recognize that from the regular active expression, active engaged questioning. And I can change the view of that information again by using that drop-down menu at the top. Being able to access the responses of the whole class is useful for a teacher to ascertain whether it is necessary to review a concept again. All of the information I have mentioned so far can be accessed as the question set is running. I don't need to wait until the end to see all of this. But once I have stopped the test and saved it, I'm able to review results in summary format. The results view is changed via the drop-down menu in the top left-hand corner. Looking at the results this way is often useful after the assessment as an efficient way of reviewing responses. Tracking time taken to complete a level alongside attempts at questions can provide evidence of where a student may have rushed and made mistakes, or identify where a student has spent a long time and has remained unsuccessful at progressing. This allows a teacher to plan lessons or personalize educational plans accordingly. Finally, the results from self-paced question sets can be exported to Excel. This will allow you to print and include in an assessment folder or edit and integrate other ways that you record pupil information. All in all, self-paced question sets are a fast, effective way of gathering and recording assessment data for the collection of evidence of pupil learning, knowledge, and understanding. Now, to just finish, I'm going to pass you back to Sam to just take us through those next steps.
Thanks, Janice. That was absolutely brilliant. So what I've got on screen now are the things that I just wanted to follow up with. So firstly, if you have Active Expression version 1, so those are the orange handsets, it may be that you need to update the firmware on your hub and devices before you can make use of the self-paced functionality. On screen now is a link to the knowledge-based document taking you through how to do this. We also have a dedicated support area for Promethean learner response systems on Promethean Planet, which you can find under blogs and forums, products, and then LRSA. That stands for Learner Response Systems and Assessment. And this is a really great place to go and find out what others are doing with self-paced and questioning in general. Finally, we have some great video tutorials that other users of Active Expression or Active Engage have created and shared via YouTube. Although these are not endorsed by Promethean themselves, they can be very useful in getting you started. For all other areas of Active Inspire related support and advice, we do encourage you to explore our standard locations, Promethean Planet, the Active Inspire help files, and the Promethean professional development pages. Now this side of the academic year, we only have one session left, which is Assessment for Learning with Promethean LRS. We will be announcing the dates of our subsequent titles soon. Please see the suggested titles below on screen now. Finally, if you have any questions or queries, then our contact details are on screen. Please feel free to email either myself or Janice. We've also launched a new Twitter handle, Promethean UK and Ireland, dedicated to looking at supporting teachers within that region. And if you are using Twitter, we would love for you to follow us on there. Thank you very much for listening.